Okay, I'm going to try recording this again. I tried just a minute ago and spent 10 minutes and actually lost because of no audio. So we're going to try it again. What we're doing is modeling data using polynomials, letting the calculator do the work for us. So the first thing we need to do is get the data into the calculator. And when I do that, I'm going to hit the stat button. The stat button says STAT. And it's right in the third column, third button down. I hit stats. And I'm going to get edit and edit. I don't know why it says what it says, but this is where we need to go. And then I'm going to hit enter again. And when I do that, I get my table. I've gone ahead and entered the data because you don't want to watch me do that. If I need to clear that data, I'm going to show you an L3. I'm going to arrow up until the L3 is backlit. I'm going to hit clear, and then I'm going to hit enter, and it will clear that entire row. Okay, so now that I have the data in there, I have to tell this thing where to look. So I'm going to go to Window, right here. Oh, I'm trying to rush. I'm going to go to Window right here and enter the X-min, X-max, Y-min, and Y-max from my table. I'm going to get that data from my table. My lowest L1, my lowest X, my X minimum, I'm going to make 17 is my lowest, I'm going to make it 15. My X maximum is 41, I'm going to make it 45. Now my Y minimum is the L2 row, my Y minimum is 71. I'm actually going to make it 0 because I know where this thing is going, and I'm going to make my maximum 300 because my maximum value on my table is 294. So now I'm going to go to Window and put that in. For X minimum, I want 15. For X maximum, I want 45. For Y minimum, I want 0. For Y maximum, I want 300. So that sets up my table. So now, or sets up my window. So now I actually have to do the regression. We're going to do a cubic regression, so I'm going to go back to stat. And instead of going into edit, I'm going to arrow over to calculate, and we're going to do a quadratic regression this time, which is option 5. And I'm going to hit enter. My X list is L1, that's good. My Y list is L2, that's good. I want this thing to store the equation it's going to write. The idea of writing the equation down on paper and then putting it back into the calculator by hand just seems to invite problems. So rather than do that, I'm going to let the calculator write it into the Y value for me. I'm going to do that by hitting vars, V-A-R-S. Then I'm going to arrow over to Y variables, or Y vars, and hit enter. My first option is Y1. When I hit enter again, this is telling the calculator to store into Y1 the equation it's about ready to calculate. So then I'm going to arrow down to calculate and hit enter. This is my quadratic regression. You saw this in class today. Y equals A, which is 1.273 x squared, plus B, which is negative 69.108 x, plus C, which is plus 1.16. If you'll notice when I go to Y equals, that the calculator put it into the Y1. Now I can turn on the plot right here. If I arrow up to the plot, backlight it, and hit enter, the plot's now on. So now it's going to plot the points from the table along with graphing the equation. I'm going to hit graph. So now I have my equation, and I can answer my questions from here. From what I can see, this thing has no zeros. Zero, zeros, none. This thing has none maximums. There's no maximums. It has a minimum. And that is at about X approximately 2. And I'm going to let the calculator do that for me. I'm going to hit second calculate and tell it to go to the minimum, not the maximum, the minimum, and I'm going to hit enter. Then I'm going to arrow to the left of my minimum because it wants the left bound, and I'm going to tell it I want the left bound right there by hitting enter. Then I'm going to arrow to the right side of that minimum until I'm on the right side of the minimum and hit enter right there. Now it wants to know if I want to guess. I'm going to hit enter. And I get 27.141. So I have a minimum at about 27.141. table. I go back to stat and hit table. My lowest x value for the range is 17 less than or x. My greatest x value is 41. My range is my lowest y value, which is 71, less than or equal to y, less than or equal to 294 is my highest y value. I need the degree. The degree of my polynomial is 2. My leading coefficient is 1.273. I sincerely apologize for going way too fast for this, but my next period is due any moment and I don't want them to do this. Hit the stop button a lot. If you have any more questions, ask me when we're in class.